Welcome, everybody, to the second episode of the Honor Cast. This is coming off of week 2 of our Canadian Challenger League season. So, leading to our match versus PDHM, let's get the team's thoughts on the match and what was their thoughts of how PDHM did against Valors. So, we'll start off with Captain Pox. What do you think of PDHM and how do you think they fared against Valors, leading up into your game?
Hello. Well, I think we already talked a bit about the Valors PDHM matchup last week, right?
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I guess we were all pretty surprised. I think by the we thought Valors was going to win it, but to be fair, we didn't really know a lot about PDHM, and they played well against us. I mean, I think they're a good team. Sorry, what was the other half of the question?
It was just how did you think you were thinking about PDHM going into the match? What did you think that their play style was kind of going to be and stuff like that?
Oh yes. We thought they were going to be super aggressive, but they actually were really structured and not as aggressive as we thought. I guess they had a few aggressive plays and aggressive players, but in general they were pretty strict on their pushes and their holds and things. So that was kind of a surprise to us.
Wolf, what did you think of kind of even during the match with PDHM? What did you think about their play style?
Honestly, it was pretty good. I think we went in thinking they were just going to be aggressive. Everyone was just going to be trying to kind of do their own thing, trying to make their own play. We kind of thought that's how they worked as a team, but they were actually a lot more coordinated. So we had to tighten up how we played. But I think overall, around the end, second map, third map, we kind of got it down how they played. So it just took us a bit because they were really unpredictable as a team.
So, with their unpredictability, obviously we didn't really start off that well in map 1. Obviously, their unpredictability kind of might have caught you guys off guard a little bit with their play. So, Envy, what do you think went wrong in map 1, and was there anything that they did that kind of surprised you guys a bit?
Well, map 1 we dropped the ball because we were expecting them the way Valors made them sound. We were expecting a bunch of ranked runouts and peaks and spawn kills and just them swinging everything. But when they played the way they played the whole series, they're a coordinated team. There was no ranked playstyle about them, and that's what threw us off the first. So we lost a bunch of rounds on defense, expecting something that they weren't doing.
Yeah. Tack, do you have anything you might want to add on to that? Is there any personal experience you had that kind of surprised you on someone on the other team did?
Honestly, they and everyone said, they play a lot more passive. I was expecting more swings and all that, so I think myself I could have played more aggressive, so rounds could have been a lot smoother, because I was expecting them to swing, and I was holding more angles than myself pushing up. So I think that also affect my role, because I'm one of the entries, so I'm the one that's pushing in, but I was I said, I was playing more passive, expecting them to swing into my line of sight, but kind of threw us off, or threw me off at least.
It was just passive versus passive. It just didn't really work out.
Yeah, we started an attack on that map too, and we kind of there's a lot of things we did wrong. Kind of butchered it a bit. We kind of threw ourselves off with false info.
The thing about that too, though, is I feel we were a bit underprepared on Oregon. Our defenses were kind of we didn't have enough strats and
Yeah.
We didn't know enough in order to like actually play the defenses as well as we could have, I think.
Hmm. Like on the topic of like Oregon and stuff like that, it was like from what I've seen, like it's more so even at like a pro league level, it's a lot of inexperience really with the map right now. Like everyone's kind of in that weird place with it. Only like a few teams are like actually like, really strong on it.
Yeah, 100%.
Everyone's experimenting different styles of play on that map.
Hmm. So obviously map 1 didn't fare too well. How do you guys think you did like on map 2, like the bounce back? Like was it just something that like kind of like clicked in? You guys were just like, okay, let's get this fixed, let's get the ball rolling again. Maple, how do you think you guys did like the bounce back in map 2?
I think we just kind of how to talk, kind of shook it off. We definitely got and how we should play and how we want to play in the first map, so we kind of just talk it through, figured shit out, and we played our game and we took it.
Pox, obviously, was there anything leading into like map 2 that like you brought up to the team and like kind of
Yeah,
what you had to focus a bit more on?
There was a bit of an internal struggle, I guess you could call it, during Oregon, like first map. So we kind of just talked about what went wrong on Oregon, and I think that really like cleared the air and like set like just like a fresh slate for map 2. We kind of like, okay, we know what to fix on Oregon. We know it was a bad map. Sorry, there's trucks driving by. But then we kind of just reset. We figured out what went wrong, kind of talked it over, and then we're like, okay, well, we're good for next map. Let's go into this with a clear head, and we just kind of all went in and just pounded it out. I mean, there was also that rehost in there, which may have helped a bit too, to slow their momentum down a bit. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Well, them having obviously the banned Legion skin didn't really help them that much. It kind of helped us in a way, trying to get like that mental reset. But Envy, like, what did you think about the kind of like the mental like boost coming from like map 2 after you guys won it?
Well, after winning map 2, and well, there was a reason why it was our pick. We have a lot less experience on Oregon compared to Theme Park, and coming off that 7-1 win made us play a lot more confident on the next map.
So now that you guys are in like officially in the Canadian Challenger League Stage 1 finals, what are your thoughts on the lower bracket of like both our group and the other group? So obviously we have Oceanus versus Windstorm being former Lick Hornets, and then you have PDHM versus Axios. So I guess we can start off with Group A first. So what are you guys' thoughts on Oceanus versus Windstorm? Like, who do you think will come on top? And like, if you have any experience with the teams, like who do you think is like more so going to be like the team that's like the underdog kind of going in?
Well, when they played, there was a close match. I remember like both. I think all the maps were really close, and I think Oceanus beat them once 2. I think it was 2-1, which was the final score.
2-1.
I think it was a really close game, but I think what was their new name? Windstorm.
Yeah. So the Hornets is now Windstorm.
So I think Windstorm might is gonna come on top now. Now that they I feel like now they have a taste of how Oceanus plays. Because I mean, it was already close enough. It could be the other way around. Oceanus could now know a lot more how the Windstorm plays. So I think it's gonna be a really close game again.
Envy, any points on that kind of matchup going into like this Friday?
Well, there's the benefit of them playing each other already. They have the experience from it. They have the intel on it. They probably have an idea of what maps that Oceanus wants to play, that Windstorm does, and then the same goes for Oceanus with Windstorm. They know what map they want to play. They're gonna know what kind of playstyle it is, so it'll probably be a lot closer, unless one of them completely counters the other. I don't see it not going to map 3.
Hmm.
But I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. That's the tough part of playing somebody that you've already played.
Yeah. So like in our group, obviously it's PDHM versus Axios, and obviously we have experience playing against both teams. Wolf, what do you think of the PDHM versus Axios matchup?
I think it's going to be an interesting one because both teams are a lot more coordinated than we thought altogether. We thought Axios was going to be exactly like PDHM, so it's going to be two coordinated teams going against each other. I think PDHM is going to come out though because I feel like Axios isn't as experienced. Just by like when we played against them versus how PDHM did against us, but who knows? I mean, Axios did beat Valors, which Valors had a lot of good players on their team. So, I mean, Axios could do a 2-1, but I think it'd be a good one. I think it'd be a good one to watch.
Maple, what are your thoughts on the Axios PDHM matchup?
I think Axios coming in on top there was definitely surprising, like we said. But I don't know. I think it could have been just like a one-off match, maybe not. I mean, it was extremely close, so it could have been anybody's game.
Mm-hmm.
I think PDHM will probably take that one. I mean, both the teams would have like really similar play styles, I'd say. So like they feel like the same team to play against almost. I think PDHM just might have the better players on their team, and even that alone might just give them that advantage on Axios.
Mm-hmm. So obviously, with being in the Canadian Challenger League finals, like you get like a week off before the finals. What is your guys' like thoughts on getting like this week off, and how are you guys utilizing it to your advantage? I guess we can start with Pox on this one.
Yeah, I think it's nice. I mean, it's nice to have that week off before the finals of the stage. Get that extra time, just kind of smooth over everything. I think that's the main thing we're trying to work on, is just getting everything, smoothed over, for lack of better words. Just to kind of solidify, all our strats, all our maps, make sure everything is just strong and kind of like unbreakable, or as strong as we can get them before we have to go into the finals.
Envy, what do you think of kind of having this like week off for the finals?
I think it's good for prep. I just wish there was VODs that we could review, and like you can't really prep for a team that you've never played or you've never seen play. So it's more going to be a week off to work on our own stuff instead of coming up with counters.
Yeah, because right now it seems more so like a mental reset for like the teams who are in the finals, and kind of gives them time to, as you said, like kind of go over more team, like your own team kind of oriented stuff. So going into obviously this like season for Challenger League, Echo has been banned. It's kind of like allowed more dynamic metas to appear on different maps. So what do you guys think the meta like kind of should be shifting towards, and has Echo being banned affected how you guys have perceived the current meta at all? I guess we can start with Wolfsies on this one.
Honestly, there's a lot less G8s. People just running around with IQ G8 because that gun is absolutely ridiculous, and having an IQ pretty much all the time. I mean, it gets rid of a lot of intel. It kind of shortens down on the info meta because you have the Maestros, you have the Echo, you have Legions, just the sound cues, you have Valk. There's so much info that you can get, and just taking out something as Echo, which can deny a plant, changes it definitely does hit an impact on the meta. as the meta should be, I think it's also in like the utility burning, because now you don't have to bring a certain op, like you don't have to bring an IQ to find them. You can bring more like flashbangs to get rid of like a Wamai or Jaeger. It just allows the attackers to have more of an easy time, unless IQ all of a sudden gets flashbangs or something. But it just allows you to better get through all the utility the defenders can throw at you. So I think the whole utility burning meta is really bad, and I think Echo being banned and not having to bring IQ really helps it out.
It's refreshing.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can also like ban like things like you usually don't ban, like, you know, usually teams ban Echo, but like now you don't have to ban Echo because he's auto banned. So you can ban like Lamar, you can ban like Jaeger, like all those ops that you know you can have those like weird bans that could really help your setup instead of like having to ban Echo, because you know Echo's really broken almost with like him having, I think, his impacts now. So like
brings in a more aggressive playstyle.
Yeah,
you can do with, which allows you to be able to be more aggressive with you being able to burn more utility.
Yeah, you can definitely see some more like spread out defense, I think, with taking the Echo away and maybe running like Legion or something like offsite, and then just kind of taking your whole defense outwards a bit because you're relying less on that like last second plant denial / maestroing stuff going on inside that you normally see.
If you guys could change like one thing in Echo to like kind of like, because like make him not as, I guess, like when he's like, you know, obviously not insta banned by like the comp like level, right? What would you like to see like adjusted for Echo? Because obviously he's like super strong, and when he, you know, comes back again, he's gonna be kind of like a operator that's gonna get like, you know, permaban, basically like mirror a lot. What would you change to him? Make sure that he doesn't really fall into that like, well, we have to ban him kind of phase, right?
I think a really good change to Echo would be if they just made his drones like not invisible. Hear me out. Don't make the drones not invisible, but make them like stick to the ceiling faster, so you could like hide them behind like shelves or something and kind of like jump up to the ceiling and fire them off, kind of thing. That way you don't have to have an IQ to get the Echo drones, because right now it's like if they're running an Echo, you have to run an IQ or else you're not going to get the Echo drones pretty much, unless you like, you know, they have a weird like shine to them in some spots on some roofs, which is like kind of stupid. But if you made them like not invisible or something, and then you like, I don't know, I think that might be one way to kind of change them. But
you have to be more strategic rather than just like, all right, I'm going to throw my drone off the rip and just put it in this corner of the roof here, and then just leave it there through the entire round.
I'd rather them just take one Echo drone away from him. Leave him with one.
2 invisible drones is a bit much.
Yeah, well, leave the one that he has invisible, give it 3 charges, and then that's the only drone that he has.
I would even argue that instead of giving him 3 charges, like I actually like the 1 drone thing. Give him just 1 drone. It's still invisible, right? But maybe increase his recharge rate on like his shots. So like he gets the 1 drone. Obviously he gets 2 shots with it, but then obviously the shots like regen like a bit faster due to the fact that he doesn't have obviously that second drone with him. But I think that might work. But I think both options that you guys brought forward like work really well. I think they would.
The thing about Echo 2 is that even if he loses his drones, he still has an MP5 that's just as good as Rooks and Docks, and it has an ACOG, so he can still frag out regardless. Like, even his gun is powerful. So, like, Echo is just all around, like, the perfect operator. Brings Barb, Plant Denial, Info, the ability to frag. He's a 3 armor, so he doesn't die as easy. He's just, if he's available, it's almost like, why don't we bring him?
I think going forward, the meta, I think right now Siege's meta is like in a kind of like a shifting period where with the newer ops and everything like that and how teams are like adjusting and playing, I feel like once Echo comes out of obviously this permanent phase, obviously teams might actually stick to like just not using Echo because they're so used to like not using him. So it might go down that route, but we'll have to see. I think that's it really for this week's HonorCast. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to comment and reply with any questions you may have for the players. And have a good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time you may be watching this at. And yeah, have a good one.